sort of drug.
They fuck up a line and leave it in and and just make it like a joke. They're like, I'm gonna leave that in the script.
Yeah, that's literally like, and it's not even like.
And they took pictures. They took pictures of them laughing to essentiate it.
Oh, it's the best. That was one of the best parts of the game. Also, I think one thing we gotta mention too is that this game has censor bars.
Oh,
and,
so you can
choose to uncensor it. We did not, which honestly made it funnier because you just have this weird giant nose man.
So the censor bar is like the cross out like symbol, but with a nose and like eyes peeking through it. Here's the thing: basically you can play it uncensored. All you really are gonna see is like one clip of side boob and then a whole bunch of man ass. So like. Hey guys, I'm Bill, a one-time Instagram blogger and now a podcaster.
And I'm Alex, the chaotic neutral.
And together we are the Gaming and Collecting Podcast.
A brother-sister duo.
That talks about gaming.
And also anime.
And don't forget the collecting. Sometimes.
Ah, forget it. We're just a nostalgia podcast at this point.
But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us.
Bill's dying! Help! Bill! Stop dying!
So how you been?
Well, you've been sick. So stay away from me. I don't want your sickness.
It's just allergies and they're not fun.
If I sound taking allergy medicine.
If I sound rough this episode, I've been just allergies hit earlier this month.
Have you been taking allergy medicine?
Yes. No, leave me alone.
Ibuprofen is not allergy medicine. Bill? You're not answering, Bill.
How you been?
I've been taking allergy medicine, so I've been doing fine. And not just ibuprofen. I had my first week of density classes this week, which was fun. And I have another one tomorrow. But it's been very like swelteringly hot. Like we've had like
swelteringly.
Swelteringly, yes.
That's a word.
It is. I make up words. So it's been super hot. In my office, the RAC unit doesn't work. And it really sucks. So, man. But other than that, like, it's a short week. But surprisingly, most short weeks, they usually drag on forever.
Yeah.
But this week, it's been like, like right away, like, it's gone by so fast. Like, I can't believe tomorrow's Friday. Like, I don't know. I've been super busy at work. I've had so much shit I've needed to do, which is good because the days go by faster. But also at the same time, it's just like, what's happening? Where am I?
It's been one of those weeks.
This place?
I finally got my Connecticut license in, so that was fun.
Wow.
Now I just got to get my registration changed over.
You're a real Connecticuter, right?
Yeah, they're basically just massholes in denial.
No, we're Connecticuters.
I mean, they drive just as bad, so.
They kind of drive worse, in all honesty. I will take that, yeah. I'm not one of them, I swear.
I almost got driven off the road on Monday. That was fun.
Yeah.
You know, when someone...
highway, and I'm gonna drive off the road.
You ever have one of those moments where, like, someone, like, ducks out because they're impatient and tries to get around, and then the lane they jump into immediately backs up?
Yep.
I was in one of those situations where the guy in front of me jumped over, and I was still going like the speed limit, so I had already like started moving into the spot, and then his lane backed up, so he decided he was going to come back over as I was already there, and he just kept coming, and I was slamming on the horn, just freaking like he just kept going, so eventually I had to relent, and then I proceeded to flip him off multiple times.
Yeah.
And he started driving extra fast to get away from me, so.
Well, yeah, because he was an idiot.
Oh, it's like, I hate when people are that fucking impatient because they immediately like do stupid shit like that, and then they think they can just undo it like it never happened, and it's like, nope, you have to live with your stupid decisions.
To live with your consequences of your actions. Do I have any Gear 5 update? Well, yeah, I do. There was a new episode. It was great. Actually, was there? Yes, there was. It was great.
Yeah.
And the manga is great. Everything. And the live action is great. Did I talk about that the last
Yes,
time we recorded?
you've mentioned it multiple
We
times.
did I? No, but I said I was just starting it. At this point, I have finished it, and oh my god, it is a banger. It is so good. The people they cast for it are just perfect. Like I think the kid who they casted for Luffy is just perfect. Like I think he really did well of like getting like the goofiness and silliness of the character. And I don't think any of like the CGI, things that they had to do. I mean, because obviously he's a guy who's made of rubber and stretches his arms, so they had to use some CGI, and I think it was all done really well. I saw people complaining about like the costuming and saying
People
it
will
looked
complain
cheap,
about everything,
saying it
Alex.
looked cheap, but I really didn't think it did. I thought all the costumes looked great. I mean, the thing is I feel like what kind of makes it good too is like Oda was heavily involved, and you can tell. And honestly, all the changes they made, I think they all really worked with the live action setting, especially with like some of the fight scenes and stuff. Like it's not animated, like it's live action, so they kind of have to redesign how they're gonna do some of the fights. Because one of my favorite ones was actually I thought like the Usopp's village arc is I think is one of the more boring arcs in the East Blue. Um, in like the early East Blue section of the story. And I have to say, I thought it was so much more interesting how they did it. And I liked how they were in the mansion rather than fighting on the beach. So I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I would love to, if anyone else watches it, I'd love to do a retrospective about it. And we did get confirmed that the script for season 2 is written, and the only thing holding it back is just the actors' strikes right now. That's really the only actors and writers' strikes right now. So that's
Yep.
really the only thing holding back a season 2 at this point.
That show could be fucking perfect. Like note for note, everything exact, like one to one, and people would still find something to bitch about because that's just what the world we live in now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people are gonna if you don't like One Piece, you're not gonna enjoy it. But I don't know,
But even the fans are still gonna find something to complain about because that's just what we live with now. No, there's always people that have to be miserable about something. It's just
yeah. I think I kind of take that back. I think even if you've never watched the show, I think you could go into the live action and really enjoy it.
Honestly, I think more people that haven't watched the show are enjoying it than fans, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's been doing really well. It's been number 1 like in almost every country on Netflix, which is insane. Like it's been doing super well. So, it's great to know that there's going to be a season 2. Once, all the negotiations for the writers strikes and actors strikes happen, which I mean, it's a good thing they're happening because some of the stuff, I mean, I'm sure you've seen like some of the actors who are talking about like, yeah, I don't get anything from the show I acted on, and it's literally one of the most popular shows in the world, and like it's so sad that we just don't pay them fairly for what they did. So I'm all for the strike, so I hope they work in their favor.
Yep.
Yeah. But
it's a thing that's
anyways,
happening.
yeah.
I'm not really following it.
No, yeah, I mean I haven't been super following it. Like this is really the only reason I've gotten into it. And like I've just seen like actors like I loved that show Lizzie McGuire growing up, and it was really sad to see like the actor who played Lizzie McGuire's father in the show. Like he literally gets a check for $0. They sent him a check for $0, and it's like they're probably like the money that they paid to mail it to him is more than the check itself. Like that's just bonkers to me. So, it's been interesting to follow. But hey,
My
if
thought
you
on it is I have no problem with what they're doing, but I'm also not that upset that the glut of new content is slowing down because it lets me catch up with shit. So
Yeah, I mean that has been kind of nice. I actually went to watch. I was going to watch a show for an upcoming anime swap, but I couldn't find it. So we're gonna have to figure out where to watch it.
which
Uh,
one? The one I picked or the one you picked?
the one you picked.
It's on High Dive.
Oh, okay. I'll need to go on there. Spoiler.
Yeah,
Find it.
it's
Figure it out from High Dive.
It's on High Dive, so you can find it there.
I'll watch it there. But I did instead. I gave up really quickly after seeing it wasn't on Crunchyroll. I just started watching One Piece again.
Of course you did.
Well, it's my favorite show in the world, and I love the live. Hey, if you're a One Piece
One Piece fan.
A One Piece fan, you're a winner right now. We got the best manga, we got the best anime, and we got the best live action. And I'm sorry, but the live action is not debatable. I'm sorry. Anyone who wants to debate that something is better, tell me what you think it is, because I don't believe you.
Did you see Danny Masterson got sentenced 30 years?
I did see that, and I'm like,
That show's ruined now.
I
I'm
know.
just gonna
I
say.
have ever since that came out, I've never watched that 70 show again. I've never watched it.
It's so uncomfortable to watch now. You're just like,
because like a freaking like rape it. Like it just sucks. It sucks. So
makes me glad
of,
nothing super bad ever came out about any of the Friends actors. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I actually just bought. Remember that box set for Parks and Rec that I was like, oh, I almost bought in Target, and then I realized I didn't have my wallet, so I couldn't buy it. But I bought it on Amazon, and it was like $20. It was on sale, so it was like $20 on Amazon. So I just bought it, so I have that now, and I'll watch that at some point.
Yep,
I've
been on a manga reading binge lately. That's been my.
You've been reading. I know. I gotta finish reading Dorohedoro.
Well,
I realized that I was missing. So I bought like 2 sets, which I thought were like the first half and the second half online. And then it turns out no, the second half didn't include the last volume, and I was like, fuck. So I bought that too. So I have that now. So now I can finish the whole series, and then once I read that, I can start reading Die Dark, which is also by the same author of Dorohedoro. So, which has been one of my new obsessions. Manga and animes wise. I just love it. It's so good. The Gyoza Fairy is life.
Yeah, I've been alternating between I've been reading like a chapter of not a chapter, a volume of Inuyasha. Then I'll jump over and I'll read a volume of Komi, and then I've been.
Inuyasha? Do you want to read that garbage?
Well, you read One Piece. That's basically toilet paper. So
get out. Get out of my house. Oh wait,
I am out of your house.
Get out of my neighborhood. Get out of my condos association.
You walked right into that, but I've also been reading Kaguya-sama because there's only 2 more volumes of that left. Only 2 more volumes have to be translated, and then it's finished over here. So.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But yeah, so.
Wow.
What are you drinking before we forget?
And
if it's a Kirkland, I don't care.
I'm not. I'm drinking a Sprite with 0 sugar.
Okay, that's enough.
I'm on a diet. The lemon lime flavor.
I'm gonna mute you.
0. Oh wait, it literally just repeats the same thing.
Good.
It's 100% natural flavors.
All right, no one cares. I'm going to mute you.
Well, there's a QR code on the back. I wonder what that leads to. And then it says to recycle the can afterwards, but I don't have a recycling bin, so I guess I'll walk to your house and throw it in your garbage can.
I'm drinking a Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
You're drinking beer?
Yes.
I don't know.
But anyways, so moving on to our actual topic for this episode.
What? I thought we were done. It's been a good podcast, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see y'all next.
Do you like watching movies, Alex?
No, I hate movies. I hate everything besides One Piece.
Do you like playing video games, Alex?
No, I hate video games. Besides One Piece video.
Do you like watching movies and playing video games at the same time?
Only if it's a One Piece movie video game.
All right, she's clearly not into this bit. So yeah, we're
Yes,
talking about
okay,
full
so
motion
yes,
video
yes,
games
and
for this
yes.
episode.
Yes.
And full motion video games are an interesting part of gaming history because they were
They
very
make
much.
Bill cry.
No, they don't. I
Tears
really
of
don't care.
joy. He loved them.
So they were very much
So,
a big.
eh.
They kind of debuted in the 90s, and they were very big during like the Sega Genesis, like Sega CD era. They never really died off because they are still technically around to this day, but their biggest point of prominence was definitely during the 90s. And honestly, the best way to explain what a full motion video game is it's essentially an interactive movie that you essentially can somewhat interact with via some sort of control scheme. And there's generally like millions of different ways they can attempt to program this out. And they're usually really cheesy B movies in terms of quality of writing. And some of them are legitimately really awesome, but a lot of them are utter crap.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They're garbage.
But anyways, so for this episode, we played a bunch of them. We're also going to talk about a whole bunch of different ones from that are pretty prolific. And I figure the best place to start is with arguably the most. I figure we'll go down the ones we did actually play first, and then we'll move on to some of the ones we didn't. But the most prolific company that made these things was a company called Digital Pictures.
Yes.
They formed in
several of those.
Yes. They made a lot of games for like the Sega CD, the 32X, well yeah, technically the 32X, the 3DO as well.
The 3DO? Bill, have you ever heard of the 3DO?
Yeah, I have. And they were active from 91 to 96 when they went out of business. And
those dumb idiots.
I mean, their games were frankly kind of shit. Although now they're unironically kind of.
But they have a game called Sewer Shark. That just sounds great.
Yeah. So let's start with the one we played first, and that is Double Switch.
Double Switch?
Hey.
Oh, that stupid idiot. And Bill could not figure out how to actually, play the game.
Fuck this game.
He tried 20 times, and every time it didn't work.
So Double Switch.
But yes, he did also start the literally the first scene you see is this guy, and he goes, "Hey, hi there." And it's just like,
my name's Eddie.
I don't like Eddie. Who is the actor who played Eddie?
I just realized Arlie Ermey's in this game apparently at one point.
Corey Lane.
Corey
Ian Haim, I combined those to a Lane, is a Canadian actor. He was in a film called Lucas Silver Bullet. Oh, it's what? Silver Bullet.
Oh, he was in The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boy? Where? Oh, there it is.
That's a movie.
Well, yeah, I see it. I don't know any of these movies.
Oh, he's dead.
Bad? Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sad. Oh, in 2010. Oh, he was only 38? Oh, that's so sad. Now I feel bad for calling him a weirdo in the game. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, his character in the game is kind of a weirdo.
Yeah.
So Double Switch is essentially, it's an interactive action adventure game that takes place in this hotel. And essentially the guy who owns it, Eddie, is locked in the basement, and you basically have to help him stop things from happening by switching a lot of these games involve switching cameras. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's before Five Nights at Freddy's in a way.
Oh my god, that's actually kind of true.
And you're supposed to interact with these switches throughout the rooms, hence the double switch, but I could not for the life of me figure it the fuck out. Like, I would try every combination possible, and the things would just still happen, and then Eddie bitches you out for not doing anything, and then he fires you.
Yeah, he's literally becomes such a jerk. He's just like, "Come on, dude, you're making me look bad," and then suddenly like you lost. I'm gonna be ruined. And it's like, well, you didn't explain anything, Eddie. How the fuck am
Yeah,
I
he doesn't
supposed to
really
save your
explain
account?
how to play the game, so you kind of have to like just figure it out on your own. And I after losing like 4 game overs in a row, I was just like, fuck this, and I just stopped.
It was more
Um,
like you did like 10 at least. There was a lot. You tried.
you know what
You
this
really
game?
tried.
You know what this game legitimately made me realize though? In the AVGN episode where he looks at Sega CD, he only shows like a couple clips from this game, and I'm convinced he did not get very far either because the clips
He
he showed,
probably the same thing because most of the clips he showed are the clips that you
yeah,
saw.
that happened right at the beginning, like with the girl screaming her ass off for no reason,
He
and like,
probably was struggling just as much as you were struggling. So
you know,
at
this
least
game
that should
got
make
a,
you feel a little validated. Like,
you know, this game actually got a updated re-release.
no, I didn't know that.
It did for its 25th anniversary. They released it on Switch and PS4.
Maybe it actually works on those consoles.
Who knows?
Ew.
But moving on from there,
Bill,
what?
Cup Noodles in Japan is releasing a caffeinated version for gamers.
Ew.
I'm
Anyways,
sorry, I just saw that pop up and I was like, ew.
so
Anyways,
the next game we played was a game called Tomcat Alley.
Tomcat Alley.
This game was developed by the Code Monkeys, which immediately leads me to understand why it was a piece of shit.
Meh.
Because the Code Monkeys also developed.
Oh yeah, and it also had that like stupid, like weird kid, like the the scary looking cat in the in the what's it called? What's it called? The intro, like the start screen.
Yeah,
Like the cat looks so scary. But the good thing about this one was there was an actual cat on screen for at least a few times,
yeah.
and that was like the best part of it.
So just to. This game was made by the Code Monkeys. They also made wonderful, wonderful hits like Simpsons Skateboarding, Shrek Treasure Hunt, and Goofy's Funhouse.
Oh boy.
So yeah, a
Some
wonderful
gems.
resume there. This one was literally, it's like you're playing as like a fighter jet pilot, and well, you're like a co-pilot, and legitimately like Double Switch. I tried it 3 times, couldn't get past the first screen.
And I love the best part about all these games is how they just berate you for not
Yeah,
knowing
anytime
how to
you
play the
fucking
game.
fail, it's just like they just like you're not ready for this yet, and it just cuts to game over, and it's like great.
Or like they're literally like, "You're a fucking failure. Get out. I'm
Not
gonna
as
eject you from the sky."
also the full motion video on Sega CD is so fucking grainy and pixelated, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
not even
it's
funny.
like doesn't even look good.
It's like AVGN said it best. He's like full fucking screen, fucking full fucking my ass or whatever.
Oh yeah, and Bill had what did you call it? Because I was like, why does the screen look like that? And you have an upscaler too. So I was just like, I was so confused why there was like an extra bar, and you're like, oh, that's fine, it's the upscaler.
Oh
But I
yeah,
was
my
going
my
blame it
upscaler leaves like this border around the screen for
'cause
certain consoles.
yeah, I was
But
confused. I just thought the game was that shitty.
no, that was legitimately part of the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we didn't get very far in Tomcat Alley.
Did this one also get a revival?
No.
Yeah, it was. It was later released for Windows-based PCs.
Oh, that's not a revival. That was like a year later.
Oh, it was a year after. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's not a revival.
I don't know. I thought it was like a later version. I do like that it's only 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were able to play it.
Who knows? The next one we played though was this one was amusing because we actually got somewhere in this one. This was Ground Zero Texas. I love the cover of this game because it just has a fucking nuke on it.
Oh yeah, this one because you were actually able to get through, and I think the only reason you stopped was you just got bored because it was just a shoot.
No, I fucked up. Remember?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because then they beat you up or something.
We'll get to that. So basically, this one you play as like it's like a. I don't really understand what's going on here. It's like there's like this weird like
Aliens.
Oh, is it aliens or something?
It's yeah. I'm looking at the plot and it says aliens know as the reticulums.
Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know.
E.T.
But they attack. Yes, ETs. With their proby fingers. They attacked a small town in Texas, which is why Ground Zero, Texas. And the player has arrived to save the townspeople who have been disappearing. The aliens have a clever way of disguising themselves as town people, aka we don't have to do
Yeah,
alien makeup
the
if
plot
we
does not explain that well at
No,
all.
I had no idea there was aliens.
Yeah, because
I would have
they show
never
like
known.
they show this giant space thing during like the intro, but then it's implied that's actually ours, like, because it's a giant like weapon for annihilating the town if they can't stop the threat.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole game is weird, but
Yeah.
this one made the most sense because, well, except for the first time I played
this
it.
one, like, you were actually able to get somewhere with.
Well, what's funny is, so this the way this one works is it's the same thing, full motion video showing different clips that are all running at real time. And basically what happens is you get to pick between north, west, east, and south, and each screen has a different scene going on. And you have to basically shoot around the scene and basically shoot out all the suspicious individuals who I guess are aliens. But the first time I did it, I didn't realize you had to pick an area like the second it starts up. So it literally, like, if you wait too long, it's like connection could not be established, and then it just cuts to game over, and it's like, oh, great. But yeah, this one was interesting. Like, I actually got pretty decent. Like, I got like a good I think we played a good like half an hour on this one, just going
Bill
through
wouldn't
screens.
shoot any of the civilians after I.
Well, no, because I found out what happened when you shoot a civilian. Basically, you just have to. It's like a kind of like it's like a light gun shooter, but you control a reticle on the screen, and you just kind of have to aim at the suspicious characters and don't hit. It's like a gallery shooter. You just basically don't shoot the civilians and just shoot the suspicious people. Some of the acting's really cheesy and funny. I'll give it that.
Yes.
But yeah, I accidentally hit
most of these though.
So one of the aliens kidnapped like a lady on screen, and I was aiming for the alien. And I accidentally hit the lady, and it literally hard cuts to like this, like the guy who's running the operation. He runs into the room and basically cusses you and then punches you in the face, and that's how it ends. Yeah, that was the game over screen. That game's a 2-discer too, so there's actually a lot of shit in that game.
Yeah. It was, yeah, this one, I mean, this one we definitely saw the most, but I feel like still we didn't get that much content from it because we didn't really have no idea we had no idea there was aliens. We just
because you have to jump, you have to jump from screen to screen so fast, it's hard to follow what's going on.
Yeah. But hey, you were able to play it, so that's,
I mean, it wasn't
most of the others.
It was the best one out of the first 3 we played, because at least I felt like I was actually playing a game, and it was decently fun for what it was.
Yeah.
Not something I'd say is high class art or anything, but I mean, unfortunately, I feel like that's something that you'd probably get more enjoyment out of just looking up like a movieized version of it on like YouTube or something. But anyways, after that, we had one more game on the Sega CD, because I only have a handful of actual FMV games currently for the Sega CD. And this one I've actually been wanting to try for a long time just because it's such a fascination in my collection. I had a copy of Corpse Killer, which is actually one of Digital Pictures' earliest games.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to try this one was it was actually a special Sega CD 32X version, which I only have one game that does that, and I was really curious to try it just because I wanted to see what the 32X actually did.
Yeah.
And I learned it cleans up the video footage a little bit.
Yeah. And it actually works.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to actually see one actually work, because it was like, hey, I'm like, it does actually do something, because the footage was definitely cleaner. Wasn't nearly as pixelated.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for Corpse Killer, it's basically a rail shooter where you kill zombies, and they have the wackiest fucking animations when they come at the screens.
Oh my god, yeah. I love how like some of them were just like floating in the air, and you're like, okay, I guess he can fly.
Also, you start the game getting bit, so you're already off to a bad start.
Oh yeah, because you're literally, and you get saved by someone,
by the crazy Rastafarian man.
Which I'm like, I feel like nowadays, like,
I'm
you
like,
could not get away with doing that.
Yeah, I was playing that. When I was playing, I was like, this would be very offensive nowadays.
Totally insensitive. But I will say this was the only one that had a very cohesive plot of like, hey,
Zombies are coming.
Zombies
Run.
are coming. You're on an island. Hope for the best.
Also, I failed that one mission and it still succeeded somehow.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, the
take
acting
your
in this one was
wins.
the cheesiest, but it was also the most entertaining.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining, I won't lie, but it was terribly insensitive. And we cannot talk about that.
90s.
90s.
A lot
what?
of these games are very
Oh, yeah.
a
Oh,
product of their time.
very much so. Which, it doesn't excuse them, but also, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
But after that, then we decided to. We
Oh,
were.
but should we talk about Night Trap, even though we didn't play it? But
Yeah,
it's
we
still a
should probably
big one.
mention Night Trap.
Yeah.
So I actually have Night Trap. I have a 3DO copy of it.
Mhm.
I was tempted to do Night Trap, but I figured we were already kind of pushing our luck. And Night Trap's a lot of game.
Yeah.
It's a very infamous game too, because it's partially responsible for creating the ESRB along with Mortal Kombat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was a huge one because it was I mean, let's be real here, Night Trap now. So at the time it was cited for the promoting like gratuitous violence and sexual aggression against women.
Ah.
But in reality, when you play the game, it's just a bunch of guys in rubber suits waddling around with drills.
Yes.
It's literally the most laughable fucking thing you'll ever play nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for 92 it was a little edgy, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was a different time. I mean, granted, Mortal Kombat is fucking laughable nowadays too. So,
And I will say, from the screenshots, it looked like this had the grainiest footage of them all.
it's up there. I mean, the 3DO version's pretty clean. I'm sure the 32X version was pretty clean as well.
Yeah.
You can get this game on Switch
If you want.
Well, no, that's actually there's a reason you want to.
Oh.
So this game has a bit of like funny backstory to it.
Mhm.
During those hearings, like the ESRB hearings, basically Nintendo was just using this as an excuse to beat down on Sega like viciously because
Oh.
guess what console Night Trap was on it, and guess which console it wasn't on.
Sega, not
'cause
Nintendo.
They beat down on the fact that like when Night Trap was on shelves initially, it didn't have a rating, and then Sega quickly put a rating on after all the stuff was started happening, and the president of like Nintendo of America and like one of their lead lawyers, Howard Lincoln, famously like berated them for this and basically said they only added it after all the controversy started. And then when he famously was asked the question, he made the famous one of the most famous quotes, which is absolutely hilarious in hindsight. He claimed Night Trap would never be on a Nintendo console. And it's now on the Switch. I bought it just for the irony of it because I was like, this is
pretty hilarious.
Well, because it was a very powerful moment at the time because it was like Nintendo was just using this to fucking kick Sega as hard as they could. And that's also why we have the ESRB now. Despite that also being kind of a joke these days, but yeah, but Night Trap is a goofy one. You know it more just for it's more known for the controversy than it is actually as a game because the game itself is pretty. It's right up there with Devil Switch, where it's kind of like confusing to fucking play.
Yeah.
It's very Five Nights at Freddy's ish, where you're kind of going from camera to camera.
And I can't believe like we can relate like Five Nights at Freddy's to like.
Well, Five Nights at Freddy's is basically an FMV game.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's funny.
Just using CGI rather than a full motion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically you just go from camera to camera and you have to activate traps to catch the fucking whatever alien things waddling around. This game also like berates you if you fuck up, which is kind of funny. There's controversy aside, though, this game is hilarious. It's not even like controversy. It's barely anything these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like most of the digital picture games were pretty lame. Like there was a lot of like sports ones like that were trying to do like basketball and like football, and they were just bad.
Yeah.
There was Sewer Shark. That's a well-known one. They were all pretty awful. Like rails, they were trying to either be rail shooters or like fighting games or like
Yeah.
these excuse me, these adventure things.
I feel like too these probably weren't that expensive to make because a lot of them were shot like probably very underpaid actors, crappy sets, crappy costume, like cheap, and then like they just quickly make a little interface on a game where you basically just click a couple things and a video will play. So they must not have been that difficult to make once they had the technology, is my assumption.
They actually had a kind of funny series like that was called like the Make My Videos series, which was like you like basically could edit and like clips and stuff, and they like to make like kind of music videos, and like they actually had legitimate artists, including like Inixis and like Marky Mark. 90s
90.
Criss Cross. Yeah, I'm sure those were interesting for some people. I never cared though. And there's a reason why Digital Pictures is no longer in business. But yeah, moving on now. So we moved over to the 3DO after this because there's obviously a very certain game on the 3DO that we're going to talk about.
Live, love, laughs the 3DO. Live, laugh, love.
Yes.
Bill plus 3DO
So
equals BFFs.
The next game we played is a all-time classic. Although I couldn't get past the first screen. We played a bit of Dragon's Lair. Which,
and by a bit, the first scene about 50 times.
Yeah, I couldn't get over I couldn't get past the fucking bridge, and I just said, fuck it, I don't care that much.
Yeah, you were really trying, too.
Well, I was like, I looked up what to do, and it still didn't work, and I just said, fuck it, I don't have time for this.
There's controller.
No, I think it was just the timing, the version was bad. It's probably one of those games that was better in the arcades.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Dragon's Lair is pretty iconic, though. I mean, it was animated by Don Bluth.
Yeah.
Which makes it very eye-catching.
The art is awesome. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Don Bluth animated film.
Yeah.
This is probably one that's probably better off to just look up the fucking footage on YouTube or something.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like 50 million playthroughs on YouTube of just like footage or people have just uploaded the footage, and I'm sure this one has had re-releases and stuff.
Yeah, but you look at that animation and it like you see it and you immediately think like Land Before Time, American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Anastasia, Secret of Nim, like all of the classic Don Bluth films.
Oh yeah. Was there multiple Dragon's Lairs too? Like there's multiple different ones?
So there was, I mean, there's one game, there's different versions of it. Like they tried to make it into different things. Like there's a side-scrolling one on the NES, which is apparently awful.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
There's a couple platformer ones. They made a 3D one like years later for the Xbox that I've never heard of. I've never played.
Oh yeah, I just saw a picture of it. That looks strange.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, yeah, not something I'd ever really be interested in playing. No. I don't know, action adventure game, like sure, whatever. Yeah, and before we end off on the big one that we played last, I did want to talk about another one that's pretty cool to me, and that was the X-Files game on PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
This one's legitimately pretty good. It's like an event. It basically plays like a lost episode of the X-Files where you play as like an FBI agent who isn't like Mulder or Scully, and you're basically trying to solve this weird like alien plot line where like Mulder and Scully have gone missing and you have to kind of find them. And the game is goofy as fuck. Like it's so cheap. There's a point in the game where you could just make the main character put tape on his nose for no reason, and then they just never acknowledge it again. It's like, it's a little janky nowadays, just because a lot of FMV games are a bit jank. But the animation's like it's not the footage I should say is very smooth. It's not rough looking. The gameplay is not that frustrating, and it's a good laugh. You don't even have to be an X-Files fan to like it.
Yeah.
And you can get it for super cheap because it's a licensed game that no one cares about.
Yep.
But yeah, anyways, moving on now, we should talk about the big
No.
one.
The big one. The one. The only.
The-
The 3DO exclusive until
It actually,
recently.
fun fact, it wasn't even a 3DO exclusive to begin with.
Wait, it wasn't?
No, it had a PC port in '93 before
Ah.
the 3DO version, and that like is super rare and no one really remembers.
All
But-
right. I lied. Anyways.
But yeah, we're talking about plumbers don't wear ties because it's the most.
Yes.
It's the most
absurd
infamous.
experience. It's not a game.
No,
it's an experience.
It's not even a full motion video game.
not.
Other than the
It's
opening
not.
segment.
It's it literally cuts you with the opening segment, which is basically this main girl, and she's talking gibberish. What was her name in the thing?
Jane.
Jane, yeah, Jane.
Played by,
Jane?
believe it or not, professional wrestler Jean Basson, other known as Hollywood.
Ah. Why
Yep.
not?
She actually has a Wikipedia page, unlike anyone else from this game.
Yeah. I just opened it.
Yeah, but she apparently did stuff outside of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this game is basically an interactive movie because there's no real gameplay to this at all.
No, it's not an interactive movie. It's an interactive slideshow.
Yeah. So
It's
this game,
not a movie. There's only one clip, and it's her talking in the beginning, and then literally right after it goes straight into PowerPoint.
yeah. So I'm convinced this game had zero budget, and
Oh yeah.
it was basically made by. So it's made by a company called United Pictures, and Pictures is spelled with an X. Yeah, they made this game, and literally the only part of full motion video is the opening like introduction, and then it immediately cuts to the title screen, which is literally MS Paint, and then
Yes.
it's nothing
And,
but
terrible. And the best part is that so the first screen of it just looks like shit. Like it doesn't even look good for MS Paint. Like it's terrible. And then there is another one where it's slightly better, but that first time you see the title screen, you're like, this looks like garbage. Oh my god.
yeah.
The tie doesn't even look like a tie. It just looks like a line across the screen.
Yeah, there's like
Oh.
nothing redeemable. Well, I say that, but this game is great for all the wrong reasons. But,
Oh yeah, it's terribly amazing.
But when you're playing it, it all of a sudden cuts to this slideshow, and it literally they used every filter
She
on.
was at Rhode Island Comic Con.
Oh, was she?
I don't. It might have been years ago, but apparently it was 2017.
Oh, okay.
We're a little late.
Yeah, I paid fucking $200 for this game, by the way. But
yes, and it was worth every
Well,
penny.
it was worth it at the time, but it's getting re-released pretty soon, so.
Oh, hey, but you have the classic.
Well, yeah, I can play it on the 3DO, which is just an experience in its own.
Yes.
But yeah, so it goes through this opening slideshow, and we're not going to summarize the entire plot because you're better off to experience it on your own.
But the plot is it isn't even hard to explain. It's just
it's guy meets girl.
Guy meets girl, and you kind of just pick how they meet, and they literally that's it. It's literally they meet. You choose a bunch of things, and then
Girl tries to get a job. Guy sits on his bike like a dumbass for 20 minutes.
And he's a plumber, but he doesn't wear a tie. But
No,
he
no,
does wear a tie.
So if you actually, so this is a lot of people make that joke. If you actually listen to the plot, the reason he wears the tie is because the mom makes him wear it, despite him arguing that I'm a plumber. Plumbers don't wear ties. So he relents which is the reason for the name. It's lame, but it makes sense.
Stupid fucking name. Literally, the name of the game, literally, I mean, I guess they probably just were like, what the fuck do we name this? And they were like, oh, that one joke. Let's name it after that.
I don't. They were probably very high when they made this.
Yeah, they must have been doing some sort of drug.
They fuck up. They fuck up a line and leave it in, and and just make it like a joke. They're like, I'm gonna leave that in the script.
Yeah, that's literally and it's not even like.
And they took pictures. They took pictures of them laughing. to essentiate it.
Oh, it's the best. That was one of the best parts of the game. Also, I think one thing we gotta mention too is that this game has censor
Oh,
bars
so
and you can choose to uncensor it. We did not, which honestly made it funnier because
well,
you just have this weird giant nose man.
so the
That's
sensor bar is like the cross out like symbol, but with a
weird
nose
nose
and like
man.
eyes peeking through it. Here's the thing: all the censor, all that basically you can play it uncensored.
Mhm.
All you really are gonna see is like one clip of side boob and then a whole bunch of man ass. So
Yeah,
like, let's be real here.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
and
there's
you,
also another scene later on
well,
too
yeah,
that will
you can see uh, Jane's full get up later on, but
get up.
even though you see it during the opening cutscene,
Yeah,
which whatever.
yeah, it's so silly, like what they chose to censor and what they chose not to censor. Is
Honestly,
just
the censorship kind of makes it funnier.
honestly, yes, it does make it a lot funnier. And that whole scene in the beginning is just like there's like a like a 2 minute slideshow of just shower scenes,
Yeah,
but
a
it's
lot
mostly
of
man ass,
a lot of man
mostly
ass.
man ass.
Maybe like one side boob shot. That's it.
That they repeat like 4 times.
No,
It's
it's
like,
slightly different angles, but they're all like basically the same.
oh, slightly different angles. They just rotated the screen a little bit.
You don't
No,
see anything worthwhile, so it's like, what? Who cares?
it was
Um,
so silly, and like, so the whole game is like, it's almost like
Also, the writing in this game is so
it's
90s and so fucking bad.
so garbage. I think like the very first choice you make, you
Also,
literally don't
also
make a
the
choice until
why
like
was the feet? Why? So whenever you get to the choices, you get like this like.
weird narrator.
So there's two narrators. There's like this like well, I'm not even talking about the narrators themselves. I'm talking about the whenever you get to like the multiple choice screen, there's always like these disembodied voices that read the choices to you. One of them's like this like man where it's like, Jane can do this, and it's like it's just this kind of goofy sound. But then like you click on the other ones, and it's like this really like insensitive like Asian
Oh my
voice.
god. Okay. Yeah. It was really like very much you think of anything that's like making fun and that's
And it's
basically what it
clearly
was.
somebody doing a voice, not an actual voice.
No,
And it's
yeah.
like
It's so bad. Like listening to that was like cringing
it
quite a
was like,
bit.
oh, well, the whole time playing this, I'm like, how are they re-releasing this?
Yeah.
Because there's so many things about this game now that like people who don't understand this game are gonna look at that and be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Like there's so many.
Also, like one of my favorites though was the first choice you get. Like you can either like, so you, well, this is before the shower scene. You can choose to watch the shower scene. You can skip it and go past like right to the next choice in case you just don't want to see that much man ass again.
Yeah.
Or my favorite is the third option, which just takes you back to the title screen and the narrator literally goes, "Hey, that Kieran Entertainment screen was pretty cool."
That's where the budget went.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was silly. And then I forgot that was like the first choice you make. And then the second choice is literally, all right, what was his name again? I forgot.
So it was either John, it was John and Jane, and it was
John.
basically like, does he make the first move? Does
Or
she
does Jane
make the first move?
move?
Or do they
But there's
both
no
stand there
one.
like idiots? Which, of course, I picked the third
So we
choice.
picked that one, and then the game berated us and was like, no, you have to
So
choose.
I looked into this. It's basically wrong no matter what you pick.
Oh, okay.
Because you're going to end up with a negative. So there's a score throughout the game, and it's always negative because like your points are always getting deducted. And because the narrator likes to make fun of you for
Yeah.
the narrator is legit on drugs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Very
that
much
narrator
so.
is like the director of the game too, because you can hear him in the background of the fuck up scene later on.
Yes.
I think he's the one that says, "I'm going to put that in the script."
Yep.
But yeah, there's
And-
like literally no matter what you do, it's always going to be wrong because it's for ha-has.
Yeah. It was so silly. Oh, that's funny. Sorry, I was looking at reception, and it actually does mention the angry video game nerd in the Wikipedia
Well, that's the
article.
only reason why anyone knows about this game nowadays.
It's so funny. I think the next choice. So that was the next choice, and then after that, it was the
Jane in the
Jane
office
with
building,
the boss.
and yeah, you could be like, basically Jane wants a job, and the boss is like, yeah, well, we don't have any positions for you, sorry. And it's like,
Yeah.
I really need this job. And it's like, you get the choice of like, ooh, something, either like the guy finds a job for Jane. Jane
Yeah.
leaves empty handed, or the boss becomes a perv.
Yep.
Which,
And
of course, you know
choose.
which choice you're going to pick because you want to see the most interesting choice.
I didn't want to see it. Bill
Well, you
chose
didn't want to
it.
see you didn't want to see Jane ride the boss like a cowboy.
No, I didn't want to see that. And that was one of the other censored
With whip
scenes.
sound effects that they added in.
It was so fucking stupid. And then, like, immediately once you do that, the game, like, berates
The narrator
you.
just
Oh, yeah,
berates you.
Well, no, because before this, didn't they have the narrator battles?
No, the
some
narrator
point?
battles after this.
Well, no, but it's the girl who, like,
No.
she takes
She
over.
does it after, like, it's after that scene.
No, but she berate. Oh, yeah, no, true. It is.
No, she berates you for other things.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's two narrators. A female narrator shows up later and beats up the original narrator and hijacks the plot for like a minute.
Yeah,
And then
there's like a subplot between the narrators as well. Like, what the fuck was this game?
Yeah, and then the first narrator comes back with a gun and just guns down the
Jane's
second
supposed to be a
narrator.
college student?
Shh.
Sorry, I read. Apparently, she's supposed to be a college student. She does not look like a college student. Anyways,
the 90s.
the 90s.
It's like Spider-Man 1 with like that 40-year-old high school student.
Yes.
People who know understand. But anyways, yeah, so like after like that, like you can have Jane run away, and then like she runs outside and John's still sitting on his bike like a dork because he fuck working, I guess. And then they have like a Scooby-Doo chase scene like for like a good like 20 minutes with, I will say the game's soundtrack is really cheesy, but it's kind of catchy. It works for everything going on.
Yes.
I'm sure the composer the composer was probably did the most work out of anybody on this fucking thing.
Yeah. But it's definitely fun. Like, it was definitely a fun game. Like, it was absurd
Experience.
and insane. Yeah,
It's not
it's
a
not a
game.
game. It's an experience. I'd honestly equate it more to, it's just a PowerPoint. It's a point and click PowerPoint adventure is the best way. It's not an FMV. It's a PPV.
It's something that
PowerPoint video game.
It's something where you get all the gang together and like you're all wasted and you just watch it just for the fuck of it.
This would be a good drinking game. Like, just for the absurdity of it, it would be a good drinking game.
Or it's a thing you show your friends after you're all drunk.
Yeah, that too. Or high. Whatever you choose.
And then but it's funny when the game ends, eventually it ends where John and Jane predictably get together.
Yeah.
And
even though she keeps going, "You're not a plumber."
yeah, she doesn't buy the fact that he's a plumber,
despite
the fact that he's carrying a plunger around.
Yep.
Because that's just what plumbers do, apparently.
Yeah, they just carry plungers. They don't need a tool bag or anything. They just need a plunger, and they're a plumber.
Yeah, this game it's not good, but it's like amazing for all the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah, it's
we
wonderful.
We didn't talk about the boss. Like after like.
Oh yeah, he just chases her through like the city streets with like a knife in his hand, and it's like no one would stop. Like what? Like it was so absurd.
Well, the best part is eventually they all he catches up to them both because they've been running this whole time, and then like he tries to make another offer, and then Jane like considers it for a minute, and John's like,
she's like,
and this is where the fuck up happens too, because John's like, no, it's like. I forget what the line is. It's so stupid, though.
It was saying he goes like, "I love me," or something.
Yeah,
he
some
says, like,
stupid
it's
shit.
Something stupid stuff where he says like his own name instead. And they go, "Oh, this is a good chuckle."
Yeah, but yeah, but then the best part is the crazy boss. Like some random chick shows up and just like she's like, "Hey, I'll take the offer," and it's like this kind of like cringy woman that the boss is not interested in all. And he's like, "No, I didn't." He's like, and they're like, "See ya, bud," and they just leave.
Run.
Oh, also the mother at the start of the game and like the freaking girl that like she wanted John to be with that like is like that was stereotypically unattractive like for the time.
Well, I don't want to say
for the time.
Like, yeah,
I'll say like nowadays like it was clearly meant to be a joke. That's what I'll say.
a poor joke.
But yeah, it's like I remember seeing that because like most videos do not even show that part, and I'm like, oh, this is something I don't remember.
Mm.
So I'm not saying the girl. Let me rephrase that though. Now that I think about it, I'm not saying the girl was ugly. I'm saying the way that they framed all the photos were very unattractive
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
like,
They really, yeah. Also, remember that one scene, like when after you make your first choice, and then there's just those like that random guy, like the two random people that come in, and they're just like they start fighting and stuff. Do you remember that?
yeah, kind
And
of.
it was so random, and you're just like, what the heck's happening? What happened to John and Jane? We literally just met John and
Oh
Jane, and
yeah,
who the fuck
that
are
like,
these people?
oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
during that
talking
scene,
about?
like where like all of a sudden like you get these different like
Yeah, all
alternative
these
versions.
random people come in, and you're just like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, there's some very questionable things in this game. Like let's just say,
Yeah.
it's worth a play though if you're
Oh.
really up for some
Yeah,
insane.
I mean, hey, if it's gonna be on the Switch, I'm sure it's not gonna be that expensive because
It
if they're
shouldn't be.
charging more than $5 for this game, that's absurd.
There better be some added shit. Like that's all I'm gonna say. If
If
they're
it's more
gonna,
than $5, there better be some added shit because this game is garbage, but in the best way.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I, that's really about it for FMV games for what we play. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's millions more, and we didn't really talk about the legitimately. I mean, other than the X Files game, we didn't really talk about any like legitimately great ones.
Oh yeah.
Well, that and Dragon's Lair, I just sucked at it.
I'm sure it probably would have been easier to playing it on like the console it was made for, which was like a
An arcade cabinet.
arcade cabinet. I'm sure if you played it on an arcade cabinet, it would be easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are some really great modern ones that I'd like to check out at some point. Like I've heard great things about a ton of different modern ones, so I might check some of these out in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's about all we got for this episode. Once again, guys, thanks for joining us on the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. The Gaming and Collecting Podcast can be found on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can follow all of our links at linktree / the Barbary Games, and you can come join us on the GNC Podcast Network Discord server, where you can find all the information on our shows, and there's some anime talk, some game talk, and Alex posts some curse shit all the time. It's great.
Yeah. I love my curse shit.
But with that, guys, we will see you all next time.
No. I don't wanna.
Too bad.